Call to order the June 6th meeting of the Oversight Committee. May I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Board members Upkarian,
Here.
Barry,
Here.
Culpepper,
Here.
Beers,
Here.
Robertson, Steger, and Chair Raggio.
Here. Thank you. I've been asked to consider item 7, which is staff comments and that. Since this is going to be our last meeting as a group under the auspices of the county, because effectively what happens is hereafter it goes as a county organization made up of the county and not of the cities. So I, in particular, want to congratulate everybody that has served on the board and to introduce our newest member, Yasmin, who most of the time spends in an office down the hall down there doing something called city manager work. So let me just say I've enjoyed it, and I want to say goodbye. So, goodbye. Any comments from the others?
Just the same as what Carl said. I enjoyed it. Thank you for all the headaches that I gave you guys and didn't throw tomatoes at me at the time, and much appreciated. And then thank you for all the work you guys have done. Just an incredible job. Besides Phil, but everyone else has done an incredible job. Just kidding. And thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
Bill?
Mr. Chair, if I can just have a couple of minutes to thank you very much. Mr. Upkarian, regardless of all of the headaches you may have caused, those do reflect the concern and interest you showed for the board and the entity that you represented, the county, as well as you, Mr. Culpepper, with the GUSD. Mr. Raggio County as well. I know, I'm sorry, Mr. Culpepper. Wrong entity, wrong educational institution. With Glendale Community College, Mr. Robertson with GUSD, Mr. Steiger, the special district. All of you have done a great job in representing the interests, not only of the redevelopment agency and the intent of dissolution, but you have represented Glendale very well. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. I know the staff has changed over the years that you've been with us, and so I know a couple of my colleagues would like to thank you as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time and representation.
Thank you, Phil.
Good afternoon, Oversight Board members. It's my distinct honor to be here today to thank you for your 6+ years of service. In preparation for these comments, I went back and looked at all of the actions of this Oversight Board since your initial meeting back in May of 2012. You have attended 34 meetings over the last 6+ years. You've taken 61 actions via resolutions, and your longest meeting went over 2 hours and 40 minutes, which also happened to be our first meeting because there was a number of items that we had to, by law, pass at that first meeting, and it was painful. And I don't want to remember the detailed ROPS and audits, but I still remember the pain we went through together. So thank you for your service to this board. And I also included the Glendale News Press article that was written right after the first board meeting, and I highlighted some of the comments that are now funny, weren't funny at the time when we were going through them, about the poorly written legislation and how there was a lot of demands in a short amount of time. So thank you for sticking through and representing the Glendale community and helping our local dollars stay local. Thank you.
And thank you for the time you were a part of it, sitting right over there.
Good job.
Pass the baton on to new staff, and the new staff has gotten some small tokens of appreciation for the Oversight Board members, and Karen will be handing those out.
Wow. It clings, so it must be wine. Oh, thank you so much.
Just while he's doing that, let me jump back, and Elena reminded me of something. This was new to all of us, and so you all should be impressed and proud of your prowess at putting something new together. We didn't have a rule book for this.
Thank you.
We didn't have anything to back up some direction to you. We did have some, I won't say poor, but hastily written legislation that we tried with your assistance to implement, to not only interpret but implement. And again, you all should be very proud and impressed with where we are today, where we've arrived. We didn't have to take anybody to the hospital. We didn't require any stitches or Band-Aids. And I think Glendale and our taxing partners all have benefited from what you've done in this chamber. So again, thank you very much.
Phil.
Well, I have to make an admission. This is not a confession, but an admission, in that I was ready to offer my resignation for the coming year. And that's because I will be 90 next month, and the drive is beginning to get to me. So the consequence of this being our last meeting and the timing of that that's a pretty good coincidence, as it turns out. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that I got to stay it out with all of you.
Thank you, Carl.
Are we ready to go through the agenda?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Chair, if I may read the posting of the agendas into the record. The agenda for June 6, 2018 regular meeting of the Glendale Oversight Board was posted on Friday on June 1st, 2018 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Next item before you is 2A, approval of minutes of September 6, 2017 and Special Oversight Board meeting of January 26th and January 24th meetings.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
And this is for the January 26th meetings?
I think there's 3 meetings there.
There were 3 meetings read into the record.
All right, yes, September 6th, 26th is January, and 24 January. All right, thank you.
Oh, that's correct. I need to correct that because I'm also, if it's January 26th it's being approved, I have to abstain as well.
I will be abstaining from all of them except for the last one listed because I was not present, unless we can vote for them.
And I have to abstain from January 24th, I think.
Mr. Chair, members
I
of...
can vote yes on all 3.
Yes, yes, you certainly can, Mr. Chair, members of the Oversight Board. Robert's Rules has a provision where, in order to culminate the business of the board, when this is the final meeting, that, for purposes of advancing the business agenda, where there will never be a full quorum of membership who are present at all those meetings, that allows there to be a vote to approve in order to culminate the business of the organization.
And I'll move, based on that, I move to approve all 3.
I'll reinstate my second.
We're ready for a call?
Sure. Board members Abkarian,
Yes.
Barry? Yes. Culpepper,
Yes.
Beers,
Yes.
Robertson, Steger, and Chair Raggio.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Under information items, we don't have anything. Next, under action items, under 4A, we have Director of Community Development regarding purchase and sales of 117 to 131 North Maryland Avenue in accordance with Successor Agency to the Development Agency's approval long-range property management plan. At 4A1, we have Oversight Board resolution authorizing the sale of Successor Agency-owned property located at 117 through 131 North Maryland Avenue with City of Glendale for the amount of $1,530,000 and authorize the execution of purchase and sales agreements in connection with therewith.
Very good.
Thank
Well,
you.
good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name's Jennifer Hiramoto. I'll be doing the presentation for for Mr. Lansafame today. So I'm hoping that today will not break any records for the longest meeting, so we'll knock on wood. The item before you is requesting the Oversight Board approval of the sale of 117 through 131 North Maryland to the City of Glendale. These are units that were constructed in 1990 in conjunction with the attached multi-level parking garage. It is comprised of 8 retail units totaling 9,000 square feet. The property was owned by the redevelopment agency, but when the state dissolved these agencies in 2012, ownership was assumed by the successor agency, which is why I'm here today. The agency's long-range property management plan requires the sale of the property, and originally the sale of the property was contemplated by selling it through an auction. However, recently there has been increased interest in the property, especially on Maryland Avenue. The City Council has authorized a request for proposals to contemplate improvements along Maryland, and these units fall right in the middle of that proposed improvement and in the Arts and Entertainment District. As you can see right now, and as I mentioned, there's 9,000 square feet, and some of this is a potential outdoor dining opportunity as well. On May 15th, 2018, the City Council and the agency authorized staff to move forward with the purchase and sale of these Maryland units. Because the long-range property management plan authorizes the sale of the property, it is permissible for the Oversight Board to direct the sale to the city. The sale price established by fair market appraisal is $1.53 million and is based on a comparable sales and retail market analysis dated April 30th, 2018. As part of the sale, the taxing entities would also be, of course, receiving a portion of these funds, and that is articulated in Exhibit 2 of your packet. For example, the city, through the sale of this property, would receive $256,000, and the balance to community colleges, for example, would be $66,327. With that, I would like to request the approval of the sale of the Maryland units to the City of Glendale.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion or questions? We have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Board members Apkarian,
Yes.
Berry,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Beers,
Yes.
Robertson, Steger, and Chair Raggio.
Yes, motion passes. And thank you
Thank you.
for the
Thank you.
presentation.
My pleasure.
Next item, please.
Next, we have board member and staff comments. Any additional comments?
I just have one comment. I wanted to thank Chair Raggio. It's not easy to keep 3 or 4 different entities all in line and all working at the same time. For the past 6 years, you've done a great job, and that's why you kept getting reelected as the chairperson. And you've shown that year in and year out for City of Glendale and now for this committee. So as a chairperson, I wanted to thank you for doing everything you've done for the
Well,
past 6 years.
I appreciate that. My wife and I moved to Glendale in 1963, and that's because of 2 things. The schools had quite a reputation, and we wanted our sons to be a part of that. And 2, it was, I was raised in a house that had the Spanish overture that you look for, and we found one in Glendale.
Oh,
So the
great.
2 of them worked out. So we were here 50 years before we moved to Valencia. And the end result is that both of us had the privilege of leading active lives in our community. And we would hope that our heirs do the same thing. They participate in their community. The end result is that it was very rewarding and met an awful lot of people in there and worked with an awful lot of people. And as I mentioned just a few moments ago, I had lunch with a former mayor of ours, Sheldon Baker, yesterday, and he is a neighbor now. And the end result is we'll get together and discuss
Good old days.
the good old days. But thank you again in that. Anyone else with commentary? Again, many, many thanks to staff and for all you've done for us in that. You've made our lives much easier. So it's time to close this meeting.
Move to adjourn.
It's not quite a record, but it's close to a record. It's 2:48 as I read that, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Move to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned, and thank you again.